Okay, I'm going to run through a quick video of how to customize your electronic super bill with inside of Medisoft Mobile or Lightech Mobile. They're both exactly the same, so this will apply to both. Go ahead and log into Medisoft Mobile on your iPad or your iPhone, and when you do, this is the screen that you'll see. Notice at the bottom of the screen that there is a little icon that says Setup. What you want to do is go ahead and tap that with your finger, and that will launch your default electronic super bill. This is the super bill that came with the software. Yours will look different than mine because I've already been in here customizing this one. Notice that we've got a series of sections on here: office visit new, office visit established, etc. Each one of those is a section, and within the section are different items. And we're going to look at this morning, we're going to look at the office visit new. And I'm going to talk about this one and use this as an example for customizing yours. In a few minutes, I'll show you how to delete a section and create a new one if you want to, or you can just edit the existing ones here to reflect the way your paper super bill looks today. So it's real easy to do. You'll notice that there are icons in each of the sections. And this first icon here, the one with the little pencil, if you tap it on your iDevice, you'll notice that the items change a little bit. We now have those green plus signs on the left and these three little gray bars on the right. The purpose of the gray bars is if you put your finger on them, I'll use the detailed one there in the middle as an example. If you put your finger on it, you can slide it up and down and change the order within that section if you want to. Hitting the plus sign to the left allows you to change the title of the procedure. In this case, it allows you to add default modifiers, and if you look a little further down, you can add a default number of units so that anytime you use this procedure, you'll always get that modifier or those modifiers, and you'll always get those number of units added to your transaction. Otherwise, you can just add modifiers and units right before you send the super bill. So hit done here. So that's editing the ones that are on there. The icon in the middle is sort of similar to that, but if I tap that one right there, you'll see that you can remove all of the fields within there. So in the case of the office visit new, if you don't like any of those, hit that red button, it'll delete them all, and then you can come back and add yours or the ones that you want. You can also hit remove this section, and that will delete the entire section from your super bill, and you can either add another one back in or just leave that empty. It's up to you. Or hitting edit this section allows you basically just to change the title of the section. We saw that a moment ago in the last icon that we used, or we can do it here. It just allows you to change the title of the section. I'm going to hit cancel. The third icon across the top is the plus sign. So if we click that plus sign, what that allows you to do is add things to this section. You can add procedures, diagnosis, free text, canned text, or a URL. So just briefly about the free text and the canned text. What that does is it allows you to put in, let's use the case of free text here. So if I hit free text, notice what it does is it puts a blank box down here at the bottom. And now if I hit that little plus sign, what I could do is, if you hit that while you're entering charges, you could type a note in there on the fly, and this would go to your biller. So this would it would show up in Medisoft or in Lightech on the transaction line, and put in whatever kind of free text you want, and it's just a blank line. It lets you type it in, and you can send that sort of one off as you go. I'm going to hit cancel there. The other thing you can do, let me get out of this. I'm going to hit this little the editing icon here again. That's the little square with the pencil. The other thing you can do with these the items within a section is if you press lightly on it and swipe your finger to the left or to the right, you'll have a delete button, and you can delete. The same is true with any of these. Press, hold, and slide, and you'll get a delete button, and you can slide left or right. It doesn't matter. So that's adding free text. Canned text would be if you wanted to have, say, a series of phrases that you could pick those from a drop-down list again, and that would send that text over to your billing team, and it would show up on the transaction entry line. The URL, this one can be useful. This allows you to put in the name of a website and then its URL. So if you wanted to link, say, to an e-prescribing site or to a patient education site or any site that you wanted to, you can put that in there, tap it, and then it will launch that website. So for whatever reason you need access to a website during your charge entry, you can put that in there and use it. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to go back and tap that plus icon again and talk about procedures and diagnosis. So if I wanted to add a new procedure to this section, I would just simply tap the procedure button, and when I do, I would then type in the procedure that I'm interested in looking for. I'm just going to type in 992, hit the search button, and that's going to bring up a list of all of the procedure codes that I have in Medisoft now that start with 992. Now, just a point about this, if you type in a code, and you can type in the code or the description of the code and hit search and it doesn't find it, that means that code is not in your Medisoft database. So if you want that code on your electronic super bill, you'll have to first add it in Medisoft or in Litech, then come back, search, and add it here in your electronic super bill. And so the process is the same for diagnosis. So that's briefly editing these sections. But if you want to, you can add an entirely new section into this into your super bill. You'll notice here in the upper right side there's a choice that says Add Section. So if I were to click Add Section, you can give it a label. So I'll call it My Favorites. Say Done. And now notice I've got another section header down here with a plus sign on it, just like the others. Hit that plus sign, tap Diagnosis, and then you can go in and just add your favorite diagnosis into that section. And then once you've done that, by the way, if you want your My Favorites up top, up front and center here, you can just take your finger in the title bar where it says My Favorites there, and this is true of all of them. Just press, hold, and drag, and you can move it anywhere you want on your electronic super bill. Trial and error here, but it's okay. So that's editing the sections, moving them around. Once you're done, what you want to do is click the Save As button, not the Save button, but click Save As, and then give it a new name. Call this template My Template or My Default Template, something different, something other than default, and that way you'll keep your default template as your baseline starting point for any future additions or changes that you want to make. The last thing I'll mention is that you can have multiple electronic super bills on here. And the way that you save and access those is through this settings button in the very upper right hand side. If you tap that settings button, this menu will pop up. We see down here it says template default. That's the template that's loaded right now. But if you wanted to load a different template, you could just simply tap the default. And I may not have any in my system, but if I did, it would then pull up a list of all of the other templates that I had in my system, and I could load my, oh, I guess I do. It took a moment to pop up. There you can see I've got a chiropractic one, I've got my template, copy of default, physical therapy, etc. So you can have multiple templates, and just tapping it will then load that template. So if I want to load my physical therapy, I would just press it, and then it loads my physical therapy template, and I can go in and change that just like I did before. So that's how you edit your electronic super bill with inside of Medisoft Mobile. It's simple, easy to do. If you refer to the help section of your Medisoft on your workstation or server, or the help section of your Litech, there is a complete help guide within there if you need any additional help. Thanks for listening.